need her.
Yeah, I kind of need Robin.
She's coming. All right.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. The first thing we need to do is approve the agenda. We have one addition under unfinished business. C will be exclusive radio rights contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition.
Thank you, Casey.
Second.
Thanks, Ryan. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Jill,
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll move to recognitions.
All righty. It's always exciting to have recognitions that involve a whole bunch of our students. And from the time that this first became a concept of possibly having this wonderful math in practice barbecue event, I've been excited. And it was wonderful, by the way.
Thank you.
Middle school students. So we have with us today the Teen Cuisine class under the direction of Mr. Matt Dwarf, somewhere here. Yep, there he is in the back. And several of the kids are going to share with you just aspects of the class and how it all came to this wonderful fruition of that really good, very good. And I do smoke meat, so I don't give out that compliment easily. It's very good. So with that.
Okay, so we've cooked a variety of amount of things. Some of my favorites have been like we made mini pizzas, pancake. Oh. Thank you. Better?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Some of my favorites have been pancakes, hamburgers, and then we made mini pizzas.
So what we done in the classroom, so we put together like a pellet grill. So like one group took it up, we put it up together and took it apart, and we put together a cooking classroom. We've made recipes for our food, and we've done chores like doing the laundry, cleaning our dishes, and taking out our trash. So what we have for dinner is a pulled pork, brisket, cheddar biscuits, and a dirt pudding.
Very good.
I think it's good that you're learning to take the trash out and do dishes too. Because my girls don't.
These are 4 different types of people we gave into.
So we've given to paras, maintenance workers, teachers, and our principal, Mr. Helton.
Okay, so one thing we've done is assemble a grill, which is actually what we have smoked your meats on today. And we only had a small booklet that we had to follow. And also, we also do budgeting. So this helps us in the future by knowing like how much we need to spend on things and just making sure that we get the right ingredients for our things. Also, we do have a time management that we have to follow, which is about 45 to 50 minutes. So we have to wash our hands and get into class as quickly as possible so we can get our recipes cooked.
We also cook for ourselves, so when we go to college, we're not eating ramen noodles every day. We have to follow and make recipes, so yeah. We also have responsibilities. We have to turn off the grill. We have to make sure that we get our laundry from the laundry room and those types of things.
Okay. How this applies to all our core classes. So like for math, we have to use measuring and duplicating stuff. For like an example, we also have to multiply. If like we need less. Sometimes we have to decrease of what we need or multiply it, add more, like from 1/4 teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon. Then for like writing, we have, or like typing, we have to type a recipe, make sure we get everything correctly with all our punctuation. Then for life skills, we assembled a grill. We also learned how to cook independently, how to follow our recipe correctly so we don't make any mistakes. And we also learned how to budget. And then for like responsibility, we turned off the stove. Like one time someone accidentally forgot to turn off the stove and left it on the whole day. And then, oh yeah, the entire night. And then for science, it's where like how fluffy, skinny, or thick our pancakes were. And then for team skills, we had to do cooperation, like example, delegating a task to everybody. And those are some like crucial life skills that we need to learn.
Jaden, I'll see you in my office tomorrow.
No, wait, why?
Never is.
So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Oh wait, is there any questions?
Oh yeah, any questions? Any questions?
What type of grill did you assemble?
A Traeger. Any more questions?
Outside of the cooking you've done with the class, how many of you cook at home? Or are you taking these skills home with you? Oh, look at that, good. And what aspect of the entire process, you know, from choosing the food to the budgeting to the math behind it, what's the most challenging and what's the most fulfilling to you? Two different questions.
Working with your team.
Okay, that's a success skill.
Sometimes it's hard to work with the people that you're assigned to group, but you learn to work with.
Trust me, I understand that.
And then the best part, getting to see our magnificent food.
Magnificent, as it would say.
Which is easier to cook with, pastries or meat?
Meat, probably. Yeah.
Meat's more fun?
Yes.
Depends on who you're asking, but me, probably meat.
Anything else? Well, I can tell you it was excellent, and thank you very much. And we're excited to see this kind of learning taking place. And obviously, you guys are really excited about being involved. So, good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Dwarf.
Very impressive.
What's for next month, though?
You'll have to find out.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to move now to financials, and Mike.
Mr. Davis.
Okay, on page 1, nothing really to point out. Over on page 3, in the middle, High Plains Co-op, we had categorical aid of $132,153. And then down below that, Keller Leopold for our property insurance you guys approved last month, $147,854. And then on page 6, in the middle is Tetra Plumbing. I'll just point out we spent about $12,434, and that's all being reimbursed through the Spark grant. So that's one of the projects there. And then on page 7, total warrants for this month, $522,562.32. And then page 9, our revenues are doing fine. You'll notice that we were able to get some of the federal funds to reimburse some of those outstanding balances we had in there. And then page 11, all of our fund expenses are within where we expect them to be at this time. And then back behind that's the high school and middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $522,562.32.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda and Ryan Schreibogel. Moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No public patron concerns, so administrative reports, Dr. Myers.
Okay, I got a couple, 4 or 5 things to talk to you about. First off, as much as I don't want to do it, we are putting off the Longhorn Festival until the spring. Wheatland is a really good partner with us in this, so I've spoken with Allie Conine. She's my point person for this. We're going to get back together on March 1, because she says she needs about 30 days on her side to get things set up with the food and whatnot, and we can put something together within 30 days. But we want it to try to be as much of a celebration as it was last year, and so that's why we're going to just hold on it. We're not canceling, we're just holding. So Spark 2 has already been mentioned a little bit, but as you well know, I mean, through the good hard efforts of Mike and Norma, Randy Ackerman, we've been very successful with our Spark submissions to the tune of over $600,000 now. We've received for reimbursement for a variety of types of things. A bulk of it is technology. The Spark 2 awards that came through just recently. And according to Randy, you can ask him specific questions, but it sets us up for success down the road even, is getting a more robust internet and wireless system going. So none of that happens. It's not like baking a cake. There's a lot of work behind all that. So, and 363 came through, I think, really well, over $600,000. Topic of discussion and concern, and Jerry, this is where you might want to jump in. The winter sports, Kansas State High School Athletic Association has, they're not saying to do any certain thing, but they're saying this is, as we move into the winter sports and as the numbers go up with COVID, and we're inside a little bit, we've got concerns as a school, but also as parents, specifically around wrestling and basketball. There are procedures in place, for showering and cleaning and whatnot, but at some point in time, you're still having people indoors during the pandemic. Our athletic pandemic response follows right in suit with our school pandemic response. So currently, we're at level 3. So we're at level 3 with the athletics as well. And so on the chart, Jerry had worked really hard putting together, along with administration, it dictates the various things that take place. And we're prepared to be doing that, okay? Basically at level 4, it comes down to people need to wear a mask into the building. And then once they're seated, if they're socially distanced, if they're staying with the family, then it's okay to remove. But if they get up and go to the bathroom, they go to the concession stand, need to put the mask back on. We are looking at a variety of different ideas with wrestling, because it's the wrestling tournaments that are under my skin, because we go to a tournament, you're there for 8 to 10 hours. It's a long time. How much time are the kids on the mat? It's not a whole lot, just not. And our numbers, at least here in our district, it's more about the adults than the kids. And so that's my concern. Jerry, is there anything for you to add into this?
The only thing I would add is there's not been consistent guidance from Keisha, from around the different areas as far as what to do as far as with the winter sports, specifically with wrestling. So I think that's the biggest thing that we're all, it's just tough, right? I mean, these are our kids. So I as much as we want to say that it's hitting home a little bit with all of us with the fact that these are our kids that we're putting out there, and we want to make sure that moving into these seasons of the sport, we're doing what's best for these kids. And so the guidance that we're getting from Keisha, their recommendations with it, but they don't know. Nobody's ever been through this. They don't know what the repercussions are as far as going to wrestling tournaments, what the transmission spread is going to look like. When we met with the health department today, they're in the flux of right now, because we've asked a little bit about specifically student-to-student transmission. Have you seen what's the rate of the student-to-student transmission compared to adult-to-student transmission? They said that right now there's so much of it out there. Contact tracing, they don't even know where they're getting it from because the spread is so big out in the community. There could be multiple different areas that they could have gotten the contact, so they don't know if it's necessarily from student to student or if it's from parent to student transmission with it. So we're trying our best as far as to navigate it, but it's kind of up in the air. We don't know from week to week what's really taking place with it. If we have a tournament, don't have a tournament. Middle school was shut down this week with, we were supposed to go to middle school wrestling at Garden, but because of the level they're in, they shut it down. Hugoton had an opening, so we're able to go down to Hugoton this Thursday. But there's concerns. We're looking at it week to week, and it seems like every single day it's changing as far as trying to get the information we're getting into. We're in constant communication with all the ADs in the area to find out what they're planning on doing. I can tell you the biggest thing that you're probably going to see in wrestling is tournaments are going to start being canceled and trying to do more smaller events where they don't spend as much time into the gyms, and you're not wrestling 10 to 12 different teams. You're having 3 or 4 different teams that are going to it. So I guess that's about all we can say. Is seems like every day it's something new to try to figure out with it.
Do you anticipate limiting the number of fans for, say, basketball games?
That's another good point. According to our pandemic plan that we have right now, when we go level 4, we do limit the amount of people that come in. Now, we were in level 4 last week, and we had middle school girls basketball. We limited the fan by changing venues. So we moved the venue down to the South Gym, which holds 1,300 people. So we didn't have to necessarily say only so many people can come in, because we don't get that large attendance at, middle school girls basketball games. If you move the 7th grade to one place and the 8th grade up to the high school hosts 1,325. So by changing venues, we automatically, I guess, limited the amount of people, because then they could move around the social distance. But yes, if we get to high school basketball season, we will have to limit the amount of people that come in if we're in level 4. That would be something you guys could talk about as far as changing that if we're in a different level. But when we asked recommendations from the health department today about what they feel like is a safe number, she didn't come up with anything. She said there's no data out there to support a certain number, and that the surrounding counties, everybody's trying to figure that out.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm sure most of you know in your businesses and your situations you have, there is no playbook and there is no specific criteria that people are telling you, hey, this really works, this is what we're going to go with. And I had a good conversation with the wrestling coach today, and he's asking me all these different questions, and I finally told him, I said, I am so sorry, because I know what it's like to be on your side asking a bunch of questions and nobody can give you any kind of answer. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at with some of moving into winter sports seasons.
So that's just one more tentacle, if you will, from the COVID experience, and I'll move into my next area for the report, and that's prepping for level 5. We're not at level 5. We went from level 4 last week to level 3 this week. I don't know what we'll be at next week. It's all data driven. We look at the county data, and then we look at our own situation, and then make a determination from that. But I've asked the principals to make sure that we are more than ready for level 5. What it calls for is more of a hybrid approach, but hybrid doesn't particularly mean the same thing in each building. What it's about is limiting numbers. That's what it is. And so more at the elementaries, we're not looking to remote. We're not looking to do that at all. That's level 6. Every teacher I've spoken with, every kid I've spoken with, every adult parent with whom I've spoken says, we don't want to go remote. We said, okay, we'll figure out how we can do this hybrid-wise. And so it's spreading kids out further, possibly even taking a section of a certain percentage of a class, and let's say 3rd grade, take a third of or 25% of each class, put them together, put them in a separate satellite room, another room, with an adult, and we zoom into them. Okay, that's an idea. So we're just looking at ways to dividing out the herd as much as we can and keep them here. That's all fine and dandy as long as we have adults. So if anyone out there listening to this wants to sub or come on as a helper in this regard, we'd love to talk to you, because I do know that several districts across the state, They're not going remote because of the number of cases with their kids. That's not why they're doing it. They're going remote because they have no cooks, or because they're out of fourth grade teachers, or they're out of bus drivers. I mean, that's what's driving this. And so we're doing everything we can to not get there, but it is what it is as people get tested. We were at 42% positivity rate last week in Finney County. She thinks it's going to go to 43% next week. So now that's no big deal if you say it's only 10 people who got tested. Now we're talking over 350 people are being tested. So it's a big number. So we are looking, it's not finalized yet, but we will have it finalized, level 5. The idea, of course, is we're going to stay here in person. Our issues are coverage, planning periods, and duty-free lunch. Those are pragmatics. Those are things we have to figure out. And like Randy had sent me an email about something earlier, said, I just expect perfection. So I'm sure the principals will get this all figured out tomorrow during our meeting. So those are just some realities of what's going on. So we are prepping. We'll be ready for level 5, doing everything we can not to go remote. That's my plan at least. Questions on that at all? I just exhibited wait time. That's a teaching technique. Wait 14 seconds. Last thing to mention to you, my daughter is getting married. Not this Friday, next Friday. So I will be out of district next Thursday and Friday, just so you know. And now my wife, who should be listening to this tonight, I just got husband points for mentioning my daughter's wedding. So that's it.
That's always good, Dr. Myers.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hi, Annette. Okay, we'll move to buildings. Any questions for Tom? Okay. We'll move to grounds. Questions for Lance? Okay, transportation.
Sam is not able to be here tonight.
Is he driving a bus?
No.
You don't, and there's nothing to add probably.
Nothing to add.
Okay, food service. Mr. Ackerman? He's good. Okay, we'll move to principals. Oh, same as, okay. Mrs. Novak.
Bring that plate of food up. Oh, we're throwing it away. Okay.
That was good. That was really good. Especially when you don't eat lunch. So. Okay, I want to piggyback off what Dr. Myers was saying about expecting perfection from us principals. He gets that every day, so I'll just say that. No, we had a faculty meeting today, and honestly, Wiley is looking good. Our numbers are good. I applaud our staff. They do the masks. They do the hand sanitizing. We don't let adults in the building. Our parents have been fantastic at, they understand. I have gotten 0 complaints from the community about all of this because they understand how important this is. And they lived last spring, and they don't want to live last spring again. Our kids want to be at school. They're happy. Our parents want their kids at school, and they're happy. So and our teachers have literally said, we will do everything we have to do to keep our kids in school. We do not want to go remote. So tonight at our faculty meeting, I put together, Dr. Myers suggested we put together a plan A, plan B, plan C for hybrid, and he put it in notes, a condensed version. I put together a spreadsheet that had a more detailed version of who would cover what and that. So I threw that at the staff, which is kind of how I do things. It's my philosophy, and I can come up with the big idea, and they always come up with the little bits that support that idea, and they make it theirs. When they make it theirs, then it becomes a reality, and they buy into it. So they're going to take that back to their team. They're going to talk about it. They're going to fill in the gaps. And then I told them we have no reason at this point to think that we would go to hybrid tomorrow, but we also know that things change really quick. So we're going to come up with a plan that works so that all kids are in school at Wiley, and we're going to come up with a plan that the teachers can implement, and everyone gets their their breaks and their, everybody you need a break. When you teach little kids, you need your lunch and you need your planning. And then our paras get the breaks that they need. So I applaud my staff because they'll take it, they'll run with it, they'll give me ideas, they'll do it. And then we had site council tonight, and I had some really good feedback from my parents about different ideas that they had. So I just wanted you to know that. I know you already know that they're a great staff, but I just wanted to reiterate that to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dina. Mrs. Tyne?
I just wanted to add a little bit to my board report. I wrote in there about the third grade voting PBL. And just from a parent perspective, because I have a third grader that's in there, she came home super excited about that. Every night they took their job super seriously. She was one of the ones that cleaned. After someone voted, she would go and spray and clean everything off. And the excitement that brought for the kids, she would come home talking about that without me having to ask what she did in school that day. So starting to see some of those PBLs, even though it's a little bit more challenging with the things that we have to work around with COVID, it still brings a lot of excitement to the kids to have learning like that. I know both 4th and 5th grade are getting ready to do their PBLs. Really excited to see what that looks like. I think 4th grade's going to do one on designing gingerbread houses. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I know 5th grade is doing one on, I believe it's explorers or something like that. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. The next thing that I wanted to highlight, which I'll probably talk about it next month, but in our 3rd grade hallway, we have the gratitude tree. And it's something that they put out there for all of us to remember what we're thankful for. And I think right now, when things can be challenging, we are faced with a lot of things that new things that we're having to figure out. It's good to remember what we're thankful for. And I see that, like Dina said, with the Wiley staff, I see it with Holcomb too, just constantly trying to look for those things that build us up, that keep us looking at the positive things that we have. And I think that's why things are going as well as they are. So I really appreciate that from the Holcomb Elementary staff.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Helton.
I just wanted to thank the parents listening and the parents present who helped with our haunted hallway last week at the middle school. Student council under Miss McKenzie's leadership did an awesome job with it. It was a well-attended event. We had over 80 kids there. It was awesome to be able to offer that opportunity to our kids. It was the first traditional, normal activity we were able to offer our middle school kids this year. And with the news that we're at level 3 this week, we get to have our gaming tournament this Friday. So kids are excited about that. And whenever possible, we always want to use positive reinforcement to help our kids make better decisions. We have more kids eligible for activities this week than we have had in about a month. And they got in a lot of work today and yesterday, or Friday, when they found out we were going to have the gaming tournament this week. They want to make sure they can be part of that. So trying to find ways to keep school fun, keep school relevant to the kids. And with your support and with our parental support, we're able to try to keep school as normal and as exciting as we can for the kids. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Just two things I wanted to point out from my board report. The first, we did have Chet Kaplan from Sports in Kansas was here last week. Did a great presentation on Think Before You Post, talking to students about the power of social media, but then he also challenged the kids to maybe put their phones up every once in a while, make connections, create relationships, because that's sometimes what you've got to do when you need to get a job or you want to advance in your job. So he advocated the part that social media is important, making a brand for yourself is important, but also that at times you got to put the phone down, look someone in the eyes, and be able to communicate with them. So I thought that was very interesting that it wasn't all about social media pros and cons, but it was at some point in time he said, you've got to put the phone up. So that was very neat thing for our students to be able to participate. And then we kicked off our parent engagement plan, which the high school staff was challenged by Dr. Myers to move away from the need for traditional parent-teacher conferences, and so we kicked that off this week. So far, we've been able to collect 253 of our parents' preferred contact time and preferred method, and we think that's going to be the most powerful in our parent engagement plan, is finding out how do parents want to be contacted, because not everybody's the same. Some would like it to be face-to-face, some would like for it to be text message, some would like for it to be email. And we went to our site council last month, and I saw Carrie's here. She was part of that group to really talk about how often do we need to communicate versus do we communicate too much. And so we were able to put together a pretty good plan that we're kicking off, and we've been very successful in our first week. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. We've got the rec minutes, the service center minutes, High Plains.
Just a couple things to mention on the High Plains. They have, just like us, we're all trying to plan ahead and avoid that third iceberg out there. They've worked hard on putting together IEP contingency plans that have been added to the IEPs, because and we're not the only district in the co-op. I think there's 16 or 17 of them. As they roll in and out of remote and in and out of quarantine, you still have to serve the kid. And so they've worked up contingency plans for that. That's Herculean effort. Then, they still have regular things to worry about as well. On top of that, they replaced the HVAC system at High Plains. It's been 25 years old. So that's the High Plains. And Ryan, do you have anything you want to add?
How much it costs to replace that HVAC system?
It's not free.
Replace a boiler. It's about the same. All right, let's move to unfinished business and new Holcomb Elementary School teachers.
The last couple months, we've had the new teachers to the district come in to be introduced to you. Last month was Holcomb Elementary, and for some odd reason, the fourth grade teachers decided not to come. No, that's not true. They were in modified quarantine last month, which meant they could come to school as long as they came straight to school, wore their masks, went straight home. And so I didn't think it'd be right for them to say, hey, hang around 3 hours, will you? And come to a board meeting. So 2 of them are able to be here tonight, this time.
Okay, so I thought this would be a little easier, although it's a little weird. Okay, well, first, fourth grade teacher, we have Shannon Caffrey that comes to us from Manhattan. We're really excited to have her join our community. This is her second year of teaching. She's doing a phenomenal job, working great with the team. We have a brand new fourth grade team pretty much, so learning how to work together has been awesome for them. We also have Haley Sabrin. She's been a parent in our community, a valued substitute before she became a teacher, and we are very happy to have her as part of our HES team. And then we also have Jennifer Sanders, who couldn't be here tonight, and maybe we'll see if she can come in December. Okay?
Thank you very much. Welcome. You're more than welcome to stay for the entire evening. We understand if you don't.
The good stuff's just getting ready to start. All right. Next, Parents as Teachers presentation.
Okay, as you well know, that we're in year 2 of the Parents as Teachers program. Parents as Teachers is one of those programs, I believe, we took part of it when my youngest son is 22, and he took part in it when he was 2. So, I mean, it's a great program. And so we launched it last year under Dina's leadership. We had a teacher that did a nice job. Then some changeover took place, and when Dina brought me Carrie's name, I was like, yes, that would be a good thing. And so we have Carrie Van Pelt is leading us into year 2, and although we had a really good start last year, it's been built upon. Doing a very good job.
Well, last year we had a teacher that did the 3-year-old and halftime, and then the PAT halftime. This year, Carrie's been able to almost turn it into a full-time program. She's working on it. It kind of fluctuates a little bit, especially with COVID, because we have some families that just don't feel comfortable doing it now. But I just want to say before she goes into what she's going to say, that she has done a fantastic job. We have to meet on a weekly basis. She has to have so many hours of reflective supervision that she does with me. She has so much PD she has to do, and she's on top of it. She's really doing a great job. So she's going to talk about some of the things that she's doing.
Okay, first off, thank you very much for hiring me. I have totally enjoyed the flexibility. I miss actually being in the classroom. I didn't think I would as much, but I have missed it a little bit. So we are now at serving 5 families. I know that doesn't sound very many, but we've got a couple kids on hold, a couple kids that have aged out. I applied for a Bright Future grant, and we did get accepted. And so what that is I can serve any family in the state of Kansas that DCF is involved in. And I have accepted the very first family. And so I will be serving them weekly for 3 months, and then twice a month for 3 months. And then I have to serve them once a month for 6 months. And then depending on what DCF and I kind of communicate weekly with them, then they have to go through the program in order to obviously keep kids or whatever the situation may be. I'm also working on a story walk that I would like to bring to our community. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with it, but what it would be is we would put like realtor signs is what I'm going to use for an example. Around maybe on the walking trail, on Railroad, or at the Clutter Park. And then I would be responsible to go and change those signs out, and they would be reading books. So we would encourage families to go walk with their kids and read a book. I present to the city on December the 9th to see if it was something that they would be willing to let me do it as a permanent like post, or if it's something that I'm going to have to put in the ground and then remove. So I'm still waiting on that. I've been in contact with Mrs. Van John about possibly having our welding class make those holders for us as a project for them as well, and it would be something that would stay in the community. So those are just a few little things that I'm working on and doing it, but I'm enjoying it, so thank you.
And I know we've talked about parents as teachers, but this is pretty much, we're going to be womb to the tomb pretty soon in USD 363. And it's just parenting ideas and brain development. We're not telling people how to parent. We're just talking about the positive aspects of engagement, and just literally number of words spoken to kids makes a difference in how well they read later on. It's kind of amazing. And so we get them started in our land of the Longhorns through 0, 1, 2, and 3. Then they'll matriculate straight into our schools. A vital piece of our early childhood program, and the early childhood program is a vital piece of our long-term success here in Holcomb. So kudos, keep it going.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Carrie. All right, let's move to exclusive radio rights contract.
We have a couple, out of the blue, a couple different radio stations reached out wanting to cover the Longhorns. So what we have for you is what I would recommend. It's what they've been doing, but now they're going to pay us to do it. So I would recommend you approve the contract with KBUF to be our exclusive radio play-by-play group.
Matt, I'll make that motion.
Okay, Jill.
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to approve the exclusive radio rights contract with KBUF. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Let's move to new business and digital design presentation.
I need to spread things out better. We had 3 really exciting things going on tonight. One was, the teen cuisine, the PAT, and now the digital design presentation. Mr. Mersman he came to us last year, and it's a different vision for our art program at the high school, but it is way, way cool. And the amount of things that they've got going on, and it builds not just the aesthetic, artistic side of a person, but there's a business aspect to this as well as he grows this program. So Mr. Mersman has brought some students with him to discuss the digital design presentation group for our program at the high school.
Good evening, my name is Bailey. I'm Megan. We have brought some examples today to show you
of what we are capable of doing, and how we have learned to create and help our school build in education.
So one of the things that we have done at the school is the art display case. We have made
these water clings, and they go to the windows with water. And this is what it looks like. Here's another one. We have also decided with the water clings to do the display case in the high school. This is a model that we had made, and we have decided to take pictures from the student athletic life and the student life to put on the display case right here and on the windows.
Another project that we've been working on is the Dewey Decimal System in the library. Miss Kona wanted to change up the posters for a more fun and exciting thing. So I have made some of the posters for her.
About 2 weeks ago, me and Megan had went to Mr. Mersman and brought a business proposal to him, thinking that we could make a designer decal business to benefit our graphic design classes. It took us a while to think about it and come up with ideas. Soon after that, I had emailed the teachers at the high school and asked them if they would like to come up with ideas that we can do a part of like the athletic department. Miss Artery wanted to do basketballs on the lockers and have the students' goals or the athletes' goals on there so that they had them so they can look at them every day.
Another thing that we've done, or I've personally done, I helped seam the league posters up in the gymnasium. With the vinyl decals, we are able to help promote small businesses and make stuff for them so they can grow and be more a part of the community.
Some of the examples that I have done and business I've done with some of the teachers. Miss Knoll wanted to make a decal for the back of her car for her business that she does for purses. So this is one of the ones that I designed. I have also designed some stickers for Mr. Schreivogel for his Star Wars maquette. He entered a contest, so he wanted to win, and so he reached out to me and Megan to make these decals. And I made these two and these two as a example. I designed them, and he wanted them to be neon lights, so they were fit for that.
Another thing that helps us for like the art aspect of it, one of the students at our school, she had took the time to make a Barack Obama thing with different lighting and colors, but we can also turn stuff like that, like pieces of artwork, into vinyl decals and like car decals and maybe posters.
Today, we had decided to make hoodies for our Scholars Board team, and we designed them today. This is what they look like. And they say Scholars Bowl on the side. I pressed them today, and me and one of the other students behind me designed it.
I'm James. I'm Derek. So we make a lot of posters and different projects around the school. We can make these senior banners now. And all the other stuff.
Going off of what Bailey said, the hoodies and the decals. Well, there's one of them. Is one of the posters. Other than going off of the athletic decals, I'm creating Mr. Novak posters for the locker rooms and name decals for the actual lockers.
So we have the ability to work with clients to make the yearbook ads, and then we, like you said, we work with a lot of other teachers around the buildings to help them out.
Got any questions?
You guys, I don't know if you specifically did it, but the class did the league banners. Is that correct? I don't know if you've seen them or not. The other thing about this is so cool. I mean, they do a nice job, and these are professionally done. They really are. We wouldn't want to hang things up just because, unless it looks good. And they've done Mr. Mershman is a taskmaster that way to make sure that once it's done properly. And we might as well, if the kids are going to learn how to do this stuff, learn how to do it right. I stood at a football game and talked to Joel one time about just design and where all it could lead as far as their career goes. Students could leave our program ready to go make some pretty good money, whether they go to college or not, on just doing design work on this. Those new vans you guys bought a couple weeks back, I don't know if Sam's gotten to you yet, Mr. Mershman, but he's supposed to be talking to you about doing the wrap for that. I mean, if you remember when we wrapped the buses, that was not free. Well, we can just do it for cost if we do it in-house. So that's, they're doing lots of exciting things. Any questions for them?
Have you guys got any local businesses to hire you guys on?
We haven't had any direct businesses, like some of them that are still stakeholders that work at the school, like Miss Berbieska. We're going to be doing concession stuff for hers. This was for Jody. I can never remember her last name, but she works at KJK. So those were actually, that's a sample, but that was, they have show longhorns that graze south of
Jardigans.
Jardigans, thank you. So that's what that was for. So we are trying to slowly build out, and really the biggest thing is them understanding what they're capable of. And like the whole sticker thing, I've been telling them since the beginning of school what we were going to be able to do until they saw me do it. They're like, oh, we can do this. I'm like, yes, thank you for joining the conversation. So that's really been about is I try and hold back as much as possible, and they build the momentum. I mean, I know I can do this, but it's them.
And High Plains House of Prayer would have been another client. They purchased all their graphics to go in their new building.
And we're doing shirts for them and banners, and we did the vinyl graphic on the outside windows.
And Jason, I can't remember the specifics on this, but through the last couple of years, we've talked about if we went and bought a T-shirt someplace, it'd be X number of dollars. If Mr. Mershman does it, it's X number of dollars. What's that? Do you remember the differences?
Well, we're at about 50% of what it would cost somewhere else. So it will cost him anywhere from $3 to $5 to make the shirt, and we charge anywhere between 8 and 10 as a cost. So we're very comparable of what we would charge outside groups. But if it's done in-house, we charge them half of that. So if it costs us 3 to 4 or 3 to 5, we charge 6 to 8 to our groups. So the last 2 years, they've done the middle school Unity shirts at a much cheaper rate than what it's cost from other groups. Not much cheaper, but enough that it makes a difference over 250 shirts.
Right.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. 12 to 14.
Getting into more custom stuff again. That's what this is. This is vinyl. So this is mainly for if you're doing a couple of different versions. The other stuff is a transfer, a heat transfer. So this they can do completely hands-on. It's just about finding the time. And that's why we love flex days. A lot of these kids, they spend more than they have to. They're spending all of their PLT in my class working on things.
The sweatshirts look sharp.
Yeah. How many shirts can y'all do an hour?
If we're doing transfers, I can press about 60 an hour, 60 sides. So if it's double-sided, it's 30. A student can do about 40. And then these, it really depends on how many layers and so on and so forth. The profit margins are pretty high. We we can make about $2 a shirt. So, and that's what I tell them, that's how I get them involved. Like, we can technically make $120 an hour just by doing this.
Awesome, y'all are doing a great job.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good job.
And Mr. Schreibvogel, if you're only buying 12 a year, we'll talk. You should be buying 15 to 17.
Okay, next we have donations.
Yeah, we got several donations provided to the district to accept this month. Strawbridge is our school photography group, and they've provided $250 donations to each one of the buildings. And then the Presbyterian Church of Garden City, out of the blue, called up and wanted to donate some money, so they donated it to the food pantry. So I would recommend that you accept all these donations.
Matt, I recommend we accept all donations.
Okay, Ryan Schreibvogel,
Second it.
Jill. Moved and seconded to accept all the donations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
15 minutes.
15 minutes?
It's a long one.
Okay, how about we go into executive session at 7 o'clock for 15 minutes? To include Dr. Myers,
That's it.
just to include Dr. Myers.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda,
Second it.
and Jill. Moved and seconded to go into executive session at 7 o'clock for 15 minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey, that was good barbecue. That's as good as you can get at a restaurant. That was good. They did a nice job.
That brisket is probably better than what you'd get at like, what's the barbecue joint out there by Maynard's?
Where?
Not by Menards, I call it Maynard's.
Oh, rib crib?
Rib crib.
Yes. Yeah, that was good.
Good, we need it.
This is damn good.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Go put a cover on it. Stop ready.
Tender and tasty. You get a real appreciation for it if you don't put too much barbecue sauce on it. That's right. It's like Patrick Mahomes putting ketchup on a steak.
That's
What?
a joke on something. There's something hit.
It better be.
Yeah, because he's related. I mean, somehow it's relation to the Heinz family. Like his girlfriend's a
Cone?
Yeah.
No, he just likes steak. He likes ketchup on his steaks. That's what his big thing is.
I'm out. Bye, Patrick. They need to trade him. Ah, kidding. Sacrilege.
He did a commercial down there. Look. Yeah. He said, I know y'all don't like me, but I like ketchup on the steaks.
That is wrong in so many ways.
Me and Sid, we cooked them the other day. So Sid and I
Okay, we're back in session. I need a motion to hire Maria Ledesma as an ESL para. Curtis,
Second.
Ryan Rita. Moved and seconded to hire Maria. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to hire Kiana Hip as a library para at the high school, and that's a full-time position.
So moved.
Jill? Ryan Shrivogel. Moved and seconded to hire Kiana. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to hire Ivan Wozencraft as a full-time maintenance employee. Ryan Shrivogel and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Ivan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Need a motion to hire Kimberly Russell as a full-time custodian.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda
Second it.
and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Kimberly. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to transfer Lori Solis from food services to Holcomb Elementary School library para.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda, Curtis. Moved and seconded to accept the transfer of Lori Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, need a motion to adjourn. Ryan Shrivogel,
Second it.
Jill. Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You know, I still haven't got to finish my dinner.
Get after it.
Jason.